Okay, so I've got a lot to catch up on. I didn't do an entry last week because I had a lot of homework, and then I spent the rest of the time editing a short I did last summer called Paper Trail, so I got the first cut done for that, but I didn't have time to do this. So, here we go. Last weekend we went to Paris. We left really early in the morning on Friday on the TGV, which is a high-speed French bullet train. We were all pretty tired, so we slept a lot. The trip to Paris only took about 2 hours because the train goes about 150 miles an hour, which looks kind of like this. I was hoping it would look more like this, but oh well, at least we got there. First thing we saw when we got into Paris was not the Eiffel Tower, but it was a giant chessboard. This was at the hotel that we were staying at. I don't remember who won that game. The next place we did go was, however, the Eiffel Tower. The tower was just massive. It was really hard to get the whole thing in a picture that does it justice, but, well, I tried. Around the Eiffel Tower there were about a bazillion trinket sellers, and they were selling all these little Eiffel Towers for pretty cheap. So several people got souvenirs that way. The next place we went was the Arc de Triomphe, which was built in the early 1800s to commemorate the victories of Napoleon. Here in probably what is one of the world's most dangerous traffic circles, we have a bicycle. We climbed to the top, which was a lot of stairs, but the view from the top was really amazing. I found Paris to be a very beautiful city, and I definitely would not mind going there again. That is Sacré-Cœur Cathedral, which is on a hill, which is the highest point in Paris. And here we have Dr. Ruber explaining the layout of Paris to everyone. Here is the Champs-Élysées, which is that big road you can see from the Arc de Triomphe. As you can see, we did a lot of walking all over Paris. After a while, you kind of start to feel like tourist zombies. Eiffel Tower, Arc de Triomphe. On our way over to Notre Dame Cathedral, it suddenly started raining really hard, so we took a break in a cafe here and ordered a bunch of tea and hot chocolate. It turned out that because of the rain delay we couldn't actually visit Notre Dame that day, so instead we went to Sainte-Chapelle. Here we all are waiting in line to pass through security for Sainte-Chapelle. Sainte-Chapelle has some of the biggest, most elaborate stained glass of any cathedral in the world, as you can see here. This part was a private chapel for King Louis XIV. Sainte-Chapelle. Back out on the streets, we walked towards the Louvre. Something I really liked about Paris is just all the old architecture, and especially the way the Seine flows through the city. It makes for some really neat bridges and waterfronts. Friday evening we spent at the Louvre. As you can see here, there were a lot of old Greek statues. The Louvre was actually a palace for the French kings before they moved to Versailles, so some of the rooms are quite elaborate. And of course, in the Louvre is housed probably the world's most famous painting, the Mona Lisa. I found it interesting just seeing the massive crowd around the painting all taking pictures of it. This was painted years and years ago, and Da Vinci and the woman he was painting had no idea that this would become the most famous and recognizable painting ever. The last thing we did on Friday night was take a boat ride on the Seine. I can see why Paris is called the City of Lights. Some of it was just beautiful, such as this guy. I just wish I had a better camera for taking night shots. The next morning, Saturday, started with a trip to Versailles, which is a little bit out of Paris. We took the train there. Versailles is just enormous. I did like the building from the outside and the gardens, but it was hard to call any of it beautiful, just because you knew that the entire thing was basically made for the king, while the rest of France was so underprivileged. All the same, a lot of it was quite stunning. This fence and these gates are actually gold-plated, as is a lot of the outside of Versailles. Hacky sack. You can play it anywhere, even in Versailles. I really did not take a lot of footage inside of Versailles just because, although I did like the outside of the building, the inside was just ridiculously elaborate and I thought it was pretty ugly. Here is the Hall of Mirrors, however. I kind of felt obliged to take video there. So that was part 1 of Paris, and I still have a day and a half to get you through. But I did take over 500 clips of video, so it's a lot to sort through. So hopefully I'll have part 2 of the Paris trip up in a couple of days, so till then, see ya. Notre Dame.